As a result, millions of vulnerable Syrians, our Syria Democratic Forces, SDF partners in the field in the northeast, Israel, Jordan, Iraq, and the Gulf, and in the end, Turkey itself, through this intervention, are all made less secure, and ISIS is made more emboldened.
Were you consulted about the withdrawal of troops as was recently done?
I personally was not consulted before the December.
Not consulted, even though you are the special envoy here in the context of Syria. Let me ask you this. Isn't it fair to say that the SDF has been a reliable partner in the fight against ISIS?
Absolutely, Senator.
Isn't it fair to say that we cannot achieve an enduring defeat of ISIS through air power alone and without some type of ground forces?
We need ground forces. They do not necessarily have to be American, Senator.
That's right. And this is exactly the point. It was the Kurds who were largely our ground forces. It's the Kurds that lost about 11 to 13,000 of their people. It's the Kurds that were detaining over 10,000 ISIS fighters and families for us. So it doesn't have to be us, but when you betray the person the entity who you were fighting on the battlefield with, and you basically leave them when you're finished using them and say, you know, you're on your own, it's a hell of a way to send a global message that, in fact, don't fight for the United States, because when they're finished with you, they'll let you die on the battlefield.
Do you have a sense of how many Kurds have been killed since we withdrew our troops?
But in that area, it is probably in the low hundreds of killed in the fighting up to the ceasefire on the Thursday.
Based upon what you're saying here, Erdogan basically said, we're coming in, get out of the way. And America blinked. Am I reading that wrong?
They went in despite a very carefully packaged set of incentives and sticks.
And so, but we withdrew our troops quite precipitously. You're saying that's unrelated to the fact that Erdogan was going to come in militarily?
Absolutely. We had two outposts of about 12 men each on that whole area.
You don't think that Turkey was holding back an aggression against northern Syria because of the U.S. presence in that region?
No, I don't think that at all.
Well, I tell you, you've lost me on the credibility of your comments.
The decision?
You, as a professional, you are fully in accord with the President's decision to relocate our troops.
I carry out the instructions.
My question is, do you fully, you've now said it didn't have any effect, so do you agree with his policy or not?
I agree that presidents have to make that decision, not people in the bureaucracy such as me.
And for the record, you did not answer my question.
I say, and that is, it's my belief that Erdogan's goal is not a safe zone. It's a strip of land from the Iraqi border to the Euphrates under his control that has few of any Kurds there, where he can relocate 3.5 million Syrian Arab refugees back into the country. That's his real goal here, is it not?
He has said publicly, repeatedly, including in New York at the UN, that it is his goal.
You don't think that our moving out and allowing Russia and Iran and Assad to decide the future fate of Syria helps to empower Iran in the Middle East?
So my concerns, I don't want to see an ethnic cleansing. I don't want to see ISIS fighters released.
But for the moment, these detention facilities are being maintained. We have commitments by the SDF, and we've learned to have faith in their commitments.
Should the SDF have faith in our commitments?
We gave them a commitment that we would do everything in our power to forestall any Turkish incursion into northeast Syria. We did not succeed in that, obviously.
Can I think about the role that the KRG has played in supporting our efforts there? You know, ever since '91, we've relied on the Kurds, haven't we? And what will our withdrawal and our actions here do to affect our relationship with those forces? And can we continue to work?
Partners for many years, the PUK and the KDP, Kurdish parties in northern Iraq, decided to have a independence referendum without properly consulting us or getting our views, or they got our views. We thought this was a big mistake.
Recently retired general who commanded or oversaw American troops in Syria in my office last night. He was distraught, in part because he tells me that the word that our soldiers are using as they are moving out of their positioning is betrayal. They've been embedded with the Kurds, with the SDP, and they feel that they have been part of a betrayal of the forces that they have been supporting and fighting alongside.
The thing that I am most disturbed about is the fact that after having agreed to a way forward with us in August, Turkey, to do these joint patrols and the dismantling of fortifications, then suddenly, inexplicably from my standpoint and many others, the Turkish leadership decided that they would just march in and do it all themselves.
A part of your testimony that I'm having a little trouble understanding is your belief that the president has not green-lighted or did not green-light the actions by Turkey. And he has defended Turkey's actions. He said, quote, they've got to keep going at each other. It's artificial to have these soldiers walking up and down between the two countries. He said, like two kids in a lot, you've got to let them fight.
First, the president did say those things. He also said many other things, including, I will crush the economy.
We've abandoned a United States ally who fought valiantly with us, and it's more than abandoning them. When the president goes out of his way to say the Kurds are no angels, why trash him on the way out the door? Why trash him? I would hope that no matter how long you've served, that you would retain enough of a moral compass to have a sense of outrage about things that are outrageous.
What confidence can we have that America will not abandon the Kurds who have stood with us repeatedly at great peril to themselves?
We have used dramatic, diplomatic, political, and economic tools, which are normally the right tools, short of war, to reverse this decision. And at this point, as we look at this ceasefire, I think we've done a pretty good job in bringing the conflict, this attack, to a halt.
And we're not going to allow ethnic cleansing in the name of a buffer zone. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
One can try to put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. One can ultimately call capitulation a victory, but it's still capitulation.